Hello everybody, welcome back to another War of the Visions video. Today we're going to be talking about my guild battle team that has been very successful. So I play in the second highest league in the game. I'm blanking on the name right now. It's Diamond 2, I believe. And I've been getting like 6 stars most days and a lot of 3 to 4 stars, which is a very nice change for me because I'm usually like a 1 to 3 star depending on the map and my units, etc. So this has been my most prolific spell as a guild battler, and I'm going to go over the whole composition in this video. I'm going to talk about my matchups and I'm going to show some footage, so let's get into it. So the first thing that I'd like to mention is that I've been wanting to make this video for a very long time and I just haven't found the time to do it. So all these battles I'm going to show you are on the previous map with the water attack up and all the different levels. However, I'm still getting 6 stars most days on the new map, so this team is still definitely very viable. So we'll go over the team really quickly and the matchups, and then we'll watch some footage. So first up, Delita is built as a kind of a tanky bruiser. He's going to be your main damage dealer, but it's very important that we take the focus away from him, and that's where Dario comes in. So you can see Dario's level 89, he's a spellblade, and he's gonna be our main tank, and it's really important that he takes the majority of the damage because the other 2 units are going to die fairly quickly. Ildyra at the end there, she's going to be another damage dealer, but she's also a great healer in small amounts. Like if she gets stuck on healing, she's not powerful enough to keep Dario up by herself, but she can throw a heal in and use Mashery's TMR to kind of stabilize, just like Ayaka would use her special, and then you can go ahead and get at your opponent. So let's get in game and take a look at the actual equipment that I have set up. Alright, so here we are in game and you can see the setup in action. So the idea here is that Dario is in the middle slot so that the other 2 units that are faster will come over to buff him. He's got the Vow of Love that's going to ensure that even with taunting spell that he's always keeping hate throughout the entire fight, and then that also means that Ildyra is going to come over and magic resist him, and that's really very important. So Ildyra is going to have a TMR that won't affect her ability to use magic resist on turn 1. She's going to be sub spellblade, and I've turned off taunting spell because we don't want her to be the tank. I just want her to use resist magic, and then she also uses water gut blade, which is very effective against people with magic resistance. They can hopefully have lower slash resistance. And then otherwise I have her built to be a little magic tanky as well in case things go south. She's also got the +5 platinum mace, and then an aim Alex ring, and then Mashery's TMR, which is absolutely incredible. This Knight's Blessing, so it does a heal on everybody around, including the user, and this can heal for pretty large amounts, like over 2,000. I think the highest I saw was like 2,600, and then puts a barrier, which for me is at about 15% damage reduction for 3 attacks, and it can go up to 30. So this is obviously a really big deal. It's instant cast, like Ildyra's other heals, but it's way more powerful than her other heals. So it's kind of like an Ayaka special that unfortunately gets you close, stacked up for AoEs, but it's still very, very good, and she won't use this unless someone needs to be healed, so that kind of gives you some space to use the resist magic. Delita has Luna Verve, which is also super important. So he's going to come in, use Luna Verve. Everyone's has acquired AP up. He'll then use Meditate. We've got resist magic, and then Dario uses magic barrier. And at that point, everyone's going to have a boatload of AP. We can outlast anyone. We'll be good for the second guild battle. It's just a really, really solid setup. For Dario, I don't want him to use resist magic, so I have it turned off for the guild battles, and then that way he's going to always use Magic Barrier, and this is good for two reasons. One, it's going to give him double magic protection because he has resist magic and Magic Barrier on him, and then because he's used a solo buff, he is going to run forward and be the first person the opponents will attack, and if they don't get too close to him, then he's going to use his taunting spell on them pretty much all of the time. I actually do have Ariaga Blade on, and that is totally a judgment call. I would recommend you turn it off for the most part, but the reason I have it on is it actually hits for like 1600 on Kilphe, which is very, very nice for closing out those matchups, but it does mean that you lose opportunities to use taunting spell, so it definitely isn't for every single matchup, and it's something you have to be very careful about. But then otherwise with Dario, I've had some really... I've messed around a lot like with his abilities, because you have something like Shadow Runner, which increases your agility, and that's super important for him because he's actually quite slow, and I do want him to get up there and get in the mix. Every time he uses taunting spell, he generally moves again, and I want him to keep moving away from everybody else so we're not stacking for AoEs. And the trade-off here is that I'm losing out on stuff like Shukichi and Holy Knight's Protection, which is obviously a very important tank skill. But I think that this is the way to go, at least for now. This has been working very well, so you can't really knock it. And then otherwise, everyone's got just good equipment. The Sword of Leash that's maxed, your +5 Armor of Light, you know, Sacred Step, great espers around for everybody. It's definitely a very, very sturdy setup. So I am actually going to, in the videos, it's going to be the Odin Vision card here, but I have since switched that out for Fenrir. So just one update for my current team, but otherwise this is the team that I've been running, and this is the team that we'll check out in the videos. All right, we'll talk about matchups next, and you've probably guessed, but we're going for magic teams, especially anything with Kilphe. My ideal team would be Kilphe, Ayaka, and then a tank like Wall, or perhaps Engelbert, and then otherwise I also like to go for Medinas, for Rain, for Ildyra, basically any magic attacker. Also, Miranda is really good, and even things like a tank like Agrius can be very good as well, although Agrius is strong against Dario, Delita is strong against Agrius. The only thing I really try to avoid are gunner teams like Lucia and Frederica, and then Orlando. So you're really just going for these magic-based teams, and when I see something like an Ayaka, Kilphe, and Wall, I know that's pretty much an auto win for me. So one last thing I want to talk about, the footage for this is going to be really choppy. I've done a lot, and I had some help from some people on Discord trying to get my emulator to run better, and while it looks incredible for me, it just is not recording that way because my computer is a potato, and I'm not sure what else I can do. So I do want to apologize. The footage isn't perfect, but you're going to get an idea of how the team works. All right, first matchup, and you can see it's my preferred team, and yeah, it's choppy. What are we going to do? So we've got the Luna Verve. This is huge. Every single match, resist magic on Dario, and then Dario, Magic Barrier, he goes straight up the middle, and we're looking really solid. And this still works on the current map just fine, just if you're wondering. But we're gonna see how little damage we can get Dario to take from Kilphe and Ayaka when they use their Holies, Meteors, Energy Busters, etc. And this is preferred right here, getting a taunting spell in. We've got so many layers of hate right now that we should be good for a while. And because no one's going to take damage, we can waste a Holy on Ayaka. And there's 300 damage. And we'll see what Kilphe is able to do. Now, Delita is also key in these matchups because while he's weak to the magic, he can silence the mages, and that can be a really, really big deal. And right there, Ildyra does a ton of damage. She can hit everybody at once, and she's just out of control. And you can see Dario is going to just continue to use Taunting Spell. He's going to keep so much hate. From what I understand, the hate comes over into the next battle, which again really suits you. So we're just going to be in really good shape here. Even though Ayaka can use full life, we're not too worried about it. The person that comes back, their CT it must be 0. There's a Mashery TMR, and you can see everyone's healed up. Everyone has a shield now. We're in really good shape. Okay, there's the full life. But we're going to deal with this really easily. That Kilphe doesn't go for a while. Everyone's going to get a turn first, and we'll be able to just hit everyone with Waterga, and she's down again. So just a reminder, these are fairly top guilds. Like I'm not in the highest league by any means, but in the second highest, and we're a competitive guild. So you're not going to come up against any cupcakes in this league. And then this point, it's just cleaning up. And what you really hope is that everyone can gather a little bit of AP for the next round at this point. And we're good to go. Next up is going to be 2 battles, and this is a day that I got 6 stars on. So you can see how this team lasts over 2 battles. And we're always going to have the exact same thing set up because of the way we've turned our skills. Dario is ready to take some damage. And you can see that Delita is always heading into these first encounters with 94 AP. So he's going to be able to use Judgment Blade a whole lot. And then obviously that range on Ildyra is just wild. And with the taunting spell, that taunting spell actually didn't do that bad damage to Kilphe. Now this is sometimes it feels bad when a tank comes up and the mages haven't caught up yet. You're going to end up doing so little damage to these tanks. But it's okay because it all adds up. And then obviously with Engelbert, he's weak to magic. But you don't really see many Engelberts. Okay, here's that Aeroga Blade. And 2,162 damage. Yes, we'll take that. And all she can come back with is a 700 damage holy. So this is an easy cleanup here. All right, battle 2. It's going to be a little bit different because we don't have a Luna Verve anymore. Delita will go forward, which is something to keep in mind. And then there's the resist magic. And hopefully Dario has enough TP to use another magic barrier. He won't always though. So you have to keep in mind when you go into these second matchups, you're not always going to get your first battle's ideal setup, and things can change too. For example, if Dario's taken too much damage, then Ildyra's going to heal him, and she might not actually move forward at all. And then once she's sat back and Dario's gone, she might use resist magic on herself and stay still again. And all of a sudden you've got Ildyra way back, which isn't going to lose you a game, but it's definitely going to be it's going to make it more difficult. So something to keep in mind when you're picking your targets. If you know your team really well, you know what happens when your tank is low, you know what happens when you don't have shared skills anymore to keep people together, then that's really important. And you can see Kilphe doesn't really have much magic resistance in pretty much any matchup I fought her. No one's using her as a spell blade because they want holy, they want those healing spells. You can see the footage is so so clippy. I might just have to start doing no animations for this because it's just, and this is not what it looks like to me when I'm playing. So look at that, we got 300 damage on an energy buster on Dario, and then only 1,000 damage on an energy buster on Ildyra. So I feel like this is a really good time to, and there are 2,700 Knight's Blessing, full heal, and then barrier. So absolutely huge. Mashery's TMR is insane. Sure, it's gonna set us up for a bit of a AoE here, but we got 500 damage on Dario and then another small attack on Ildyra. We're in really good shape here against this team. Even though this is our second fight and this is this team's first fight, we're still looking real good. So I think this is a good time to mention Kilphe's weakness, because I actually, before I made this team, I was starting to think she's maybe a little too strong. I've heard people say, well, you know, she's going to be weaker in the future, but I've kind of discovered her weakness, which is one, obviously having magic resistant people will help you survive, but her true weakness is once you've survived against her, she has very little AP. She runs out of AP super quickly. It makes her a really poor second guild battle unit unless she can heal or something to get her AP back up. But there's so many fights where at the end of the fight, Kilphe is whacking people with her staff, and now I understand why they made her normal attack scale off of magic so that it could do some actual damage, because she runs out of AP all the time, and once she does, you've won. It's as simple as that. So having a tank that has magic barrier, you don't even have to have a magic resistant team. If you're able to keep them out of energy bust, then you're good to go. Alright, so here's another match 2. I've already gotten 3 stars, and you can see that Dario is low on HP, or he's halfway, Delita's halfway, and I want you to check out the behavior of everybody, and this is also going to be a match against Agrias. So let's go ahead and we'll check that out. So with Agrias, the main thing that really kills me is her special and the confusion. So we'll see if that's a concern here. But there's a Knight's Blessing for max heal and a barrier to start off Dario's day. He doesn't actually have the TP for his magic, his shield, his barrier, but he's still going to be pretty magic resistant. But Agrias here, she's going to use her special, and you'll see why I don't like it. So there's confusion, and see, this is lucky, it only hit the one person. A lot of times it hits more than one, and it kind of ruins your day. But if it just hits Dario, I'm going to be able to hopefully survive this. And once again, you just see Ildyra's range really is crazy. Even though she's not doing that much damage, the fact that she can get involved really quickly, it's a big deal. She will take a little bit of damage, and they're gonna get some AP and magic up, but this is perfect. Delita versus Agrias, that's some big damage. And then here's a Water Gut Blade, and you can see that does 17, and the reason she used it is because it does more damage. So obviously that was a really big deal, because Agrias has a lot of magic resist, that slash attack was going to be more useful. And Kilphe helped me out, and we're seeing right now how important it is to have hate on Dario. Without having that hate on Dario from the last battle, then he's not going to take that holy, he won't become unconfused. That could have been a kill on Delita, could have been a kill on Ildyra, so we're in good shape because of it. And then he's going to continue to cement his hate. And I'm laughing at this point. Got very lucky with the full life though. That would have been definitely tricky for the full life to have gone off. And you can see Energy Buster, how little damage it does on Dario. And as long as Dario keeps hate, I can win. Ayaka will get stuck in healing mode, and Ildyra will do some DPS. So even here, Energy Buster, while it's strong, and you can see Kilphe ran out of AP, I'm still in good shape here. With Ildyra, I've also turned off her solo heal. So because she will have that behavior like Ayaka to always be healing, you have to be really careful. So I turned off her solo heal. She only has her AoE heal on. She gets a lot of uses of it anyway, but at the very least, I always want her to be healing multiple people, even if she deems that they're not needed to be healed. But you can see that Kilphe gets into a bad spot here. And it's going to allow me to still pull this win out, even with all of this healing, all of this nonsense. As long as Dario stays alive, we're good to go. And here, let's see the Ergo Blade. Yeah, it was okay. It's nice to hit multiple units. Once Ayaka's down, we're good to go. Kilphe, only 23 AP. She can use her Earth Staff, but it's not going to do much. And height 3 Holy really is quite the skill. And there's the death machine. And even this battle was long enough, I ran out of AP. This was actually, I remember noting this when I recorded, that this was the first time I ever ran out of AP with Ildyra, ever. And I filmed a lot of footage overall. This was the very first time that I ran out. So I really did get quite a bit of test footage. I'm not going to show it all because of how choppy it is and how long the video would be, but this is going to give you an idea of how good this team can be. And I want to throw a few things in there just for you to think about. First of all, Ildyra has water damage up on this map. She gets all of her height bonuses from the various panels on this map as well. But on the new map, she still has some height stuff to work with. She doesn't have water damage up, and she's still doing just fine. So there are a few things to consider, but overall, this team has been hugely successful for me, and if you have Dario sitting around, you can see now how effective he will be as your tank.